This is a Sports Catastrophe production.
Hey there, how there, ho there, it's Jeff Cutter and welcome you to another Sports Catastrophe Birthday Boy. And the birthday boy for today, August the 26th, is a baseball player who played for Tampa, Detroit, Toronto, Boston, and Los Angeles in the major leagues. He was actually a relief pitcher more so for a few years with Tampa, and then became a starting pitcher by 2009 and was an icon. Then was traded to Detroit, and then Detroit traded him to the Blue Jays, and then the Red Sox signed him to a free agency deal, and then they traded him to Los Angeles, where he played a couple of years. He's retired since 2022. His name is David Price, who's 38 years old today. So he was born the same year I was, 1985. So David Price was born in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where Middle Tennessee plays their games. He loved playing baseball and all that. He was a great pitcher in high school. The Dodgers picked him in the 19th round of the 2004 draft. He did not want to sign and decided to go to Vanderbilt on an academic scholarship and play for the baseball team for 3 years. Funny as it sounds, as a freshman, he did not like his college workload, so he decided to nearly quit baseball to work at McDonald's. However, his coach talked him out of it, and he went 9-5 for Vanderbilt, pitching a 17 strikeout appearance against Arkansas. He was actually one of the finalists for the Golden Spikes Award, which is NCAA baseball's answer to the Heisman for college football. As a junior, he went 11-1. He looked pretty impressive and all that. He won all the awards. He won the Spikes Award, the Dick Hauser Trophy, and the Brooks Wallace Award. So he looked pretty good. All that. Well, Tampa knew what they had to do with the first pick in the 2007 draft. Get this guy. And they did. So he signed his first professional contract of 6 years worth $11 million. Not per year, but $11 million total. He was actually added to the 40-man roster of Tampa before being optioned to the minor leagues to begin his career. His signing bonus was $5.6 million, which was second in history behind only Justin Upton for what Arizona did, top pick in the 2005 draft. So he went to Class A and then went up through the system. He was 11-0 in single A and double A, but lost one game at triple A, which isn't bad. But Tampa needed him for the stretch drive, as Tampa was trying to get their first playoff spot. And much less, that's huge, but much less the fact that Tampa had always been near the bottom of the American League East, except for one season between 1988 and 2007. The Rays were last. So, anyhow, he made his major league debut against the Yankees. And his first major league hit allowed was a home run by Derek Jeter. And no, it's not that famous 3,000th hit one. Although Price would give up that 3,000th hit to Jeter, but that was in 2011. Price pitched a lot of relief and all that. He was the winner in Game 2 of the 2008 ALCS against Boston. And Price would be huge because he recorded the final 4 outs in Game 7 of that ALCS to give Tampa not only the fact that they had their first playoff series, but in their first year of making the playoffs, they made the World Series, which was like a big Cinderella story considering Tampa's history beforehand. Yeah, it was like a huge save and all that, eliminating the Red Sox, even though the Red Sox were so close to coming back from 3-1 down in that series. Price would pitch Game 2 of the 2008 World Series, but still picked up a save. And it was the only game that Tampa won in that series. Anyway, he became a full-time starter and was 10-7 with 102 strikeouts. Not half bad. In his second year as a full-time starter in 2010, he actually was 10-2 by June 15th and was selected to be the AL starting pitcher for the All-Star game. He ended up getting 19 wins, tied for second in the AL and third in ERA. He would actually finish second in voting for the Cy Young behind Felix Hernandez. he would actually lose a pair of games in the ALDS against Texas, which sunk the Braves and got Texas to the ALCS and subsequently the World Series. Of course, in the season that Price allowed Derek Jeter's 3,000th hit in 2011, he was 12-13. However, he turned it right around in 2012, winning 20 games, tying for the AL lead in wins, and put up an ERA of 2.54. He was the youngest American League pitcher to earn 20 wins in a season since 2004 at age 27. And a tight ALC Cy Young Award race had David Price winning. Price unfortunately would only go 10-8 in 2013 and had 4 complete games. But Price's fourth complete game was against Texas, in Texas, and the winner went to were the wildcard team in the AL. Price did it, getting Tampa to the postseason. David Price was pitching quite well. He was 11-8 with 189 strikeouts until the trade deadline on July 31st, when he was traded to Detroit in a 3-way deal that Tampa picked up Drew Smyly, Nick Franklin, and William Adames, and Seattle picked up Austin Jackson. Unfortunately, nothing would work out with those teams. Price would do quite well for Detroit and all that. He played Tampa in his first start against his former team. He allowed only 1 hit, but lost because it was an unearned run in the first inning. Price became the first pitcher in the major leagues to lose a complete game, 1 hitter or better, with no earned run since Andy Hawkins' famous no-hitter, July 1st, 1990. Which, there were like 4 errors. But 6 days later against the Yankees, he would allow 8 runs. And became the first pitcher since Bob Forsch in 1989 to allow 9 straight hits. Price went 4-4 with the Tigers over the last few months. And he did win the game on the last day of the regular season to give the Tigers their 4th straight AL Central title. But they didn't do well in the playoffs. I think they lost to Kansas City, didn't they? I would like to say yes, but I think no. No, I think it was the Angels. Anyhow, in 2015, he would sign a $19 million deal for the 2015 season, a 1-year arbitration deal. He was named the opening day starter, breaking Justin Verlander's 7 straight opening day starts. All that. And he helped the Tigers beat the Twins. He got to the 2015 All-Star game, his 5th such honor, and was 9-2 with 115 strikeouts. However, in a much publicized deal that people were talking about north of the border, Detroit traded Price to Toronto for Daniel Norris, Matt Boyd, and Gerald Laporte. I myself was not too happy that we gave up Daniel Norris because he was a good pitching prospect. But, Price made his debut August 3rd on Civic Holiday, which is a holiday in Ontario. Not a statutory holiday, but a public holiday in Ontario. On the Monday afternoon, he threw 119 pitches in 8 innings, getting 11 strikeouts and a winning decision, as the Jays won 5-1 over the Twins. Price was supposed to start the final game on October 1st, but because the Jays had clinched the AL East, he was scratched. Price was 9-1 in 11 starts with the Blue Jays, with a 2.30 ERA in 74 innings, which was amazing. How he could do so well, and all that. The 2015 Blue Jays are an anomaly. They were 50-51 at one point, and then rattled off an 11-game winning streak, and then somehow won the division, which was shocking, and all that. And let's not forget that Marcus Stroman came back from a seemingly season-ending injury in spring training to come back in September. All that. Regardless, Price was on the bump for Game 1 of the ALDS against Texas. Unfortunately, he lost, making his postseason record 1-6, and basically that's when people said that he couldn't win in the postseason. However, in Game 4, he pitched 3 innings in relief, helping the Blue Jays win in Texas to force Game 5 and Batista's bat flip game. Sadly, though, Price would not do so well in the playoffs as Kansas City would take him twice, I think. Anyhow, Price was 18-5 with the Tigers and Jays combined, and second in Cy Young to Dallas Keuchel. Bullshit. He was a free agent. Boston broke the bank, giving him a 7-year, $217 million contract, which means he would make $31 million a year. God, I would be happy with $1 million a year. Anyway, Price would win his debut with the Red Sox. In the first half, he was 8-6. However, his second half was much better. He was 9-3, going 17-9, leading the AL in innings pitched. He put up 228 strikeouts, his second highest ever. And actually, he was the first pitcher in 6 years to start 35 games, because most pitchers don't really start that many, which was stupid. Anyway, Price would unfortunately have an elbow injury in spring training in 2017, and he was actually involved in a verbal altercation with NESN broadcaster and Hall of Fame pitcher Dennis Eckersley when he got mad at Eckersley criticizing Eduardo Rodriguez's performance, and Price mockingly yelled at Eckersley. He refused to apologize. So, but inflammation would hurt him and all that. He was made to be a reliever because of that stuff. He did throw 6 2/3 scoreless innings in the ALDS against Houston, but Houston won that series. In 2018, he talked about the situation with Eckersley and said that he could win the fans back by pitching well. And the fans gave him the benefit of the doubt. He was 16-7 with a 3.58 ERA. In the postseason, he started Game 2 of the ALDS against the Yankees and lost. Again, he lost. That was the 10th time Price started a game, not being a reliever, in the postseason, and yet his teams were 0-10. Fortunately, though, the Red Sox would win that ALDS and then move on to the ALCS against Houston. He pitched Game 2, and even though the Red Sox won, he didn't complete 5 innings. That's the rule. He did not get the win. When Chris Sale injured in Game 5, Price started on 3 days rest and won the game. He went through 6 innings, winning 4-1, and finally winning a postseason start. His other 2 postseason wins were in relief. But anyway, Boston went to the World Series. They took on the Dodgers at Fenway Park in Game 2, and Price was the hero in 6 innings, getting Boston the win 4-2. Price would pitch a scoreless relief in Game 3 and warmed up in the bullpen in Game 4. Shockingly, Chris Sale was available on full rest. They decided to go with Price to start Game 5, saying that Ashley Park could require a pinch hitter. All that. Unfortunately, on his first pitch, Price threw. David Freese hit a home run. Boston took a 5-1 win, and that was when the Red Sox won the World Series in 5 games, shocking a lot of people. Because, Game 3 was that 18-inning affair, and then Game 4, the Dodgers had it in the bag, but Steve Pearce freaking hit a 3-run shot, and was it him? I can't remember, but anyway. So anyway, he was known as the AL Comeback Player of the Year award. Price decided to change his uniform number from 24 to 10 because of his son Xavier, because X is the Roman numeral 10. Unfortunately, tendinitis would plague him and all that. Although he did win 6 straight decisions in the year. He's done pretty well for himself. Yeah, he had 22 starts, going 7-5. Then the Red Sox made a massive deal, February 2020, a month before COVID ruined everything, trading Price, Mookie Betts to the Dodgers for Alex Verdugo and a few other players. Price said he would donate $1,000 to each of the Dodgers minor league players to offset their costs during the pandemic. Price announced he would not play during the 2020 COVID season because of things. Ironically, the Dodgers would win the World Series. He would get a World Series ring, but he auctioned it off to raise money for the Players Alliance. Price would be massively a reliever. Well, a starter slash reliever. He didn't appear in the 2021 playoffs, and then 2022, he considered retirement. So Price retired and all that. So anyway, he and his longtime girlfriend married in 2016, having two children. So David Price was great and all that. It was amazing what he did for the Blue Jays, helping us get to the 2015 postseason. If only his postseason heroics would be all that. I remember writing a Facebook post after him doing well in the postseason 2018, saying that where the heck was this in 2015 for the Blue Jays? The Jays probably would have went to the World Series. Maybe lost, maybe won. I don't care, but idiotic. But anyway, David Price is still a winner in my book. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.